Welcome back to Occupational Learning and Module 2, which is going to be looking at using strategies but in the given context. And here are the module outcomes that we're going to be looking at today. Firstly, how to use specific learning strategies, as well as to plan and gather relevant information for use but in a given context. Language features and conventions can be managed for learning purposes. Language has certain features and conventions which can be managed for learning purpose. For example, grammatical conventions are the rules that we use to combine or use, as well as to unpack or understand words and sentences. Every language has conventions or rules which language users need to know in order to communicate with each other. Let's have a look at these learning strategies. Firstly, learning strategies are used by learners to help them identify and understand information and solve problems. A learning strategy is basically a person's approach to learning and using of information. A person who does not know or use good learning strategies often learns passively and ultimately fails to acquire new knowledge and skills effectively. A summary of information for learning processes. This would include all the main ideas which relates to the purpose of making a summary. It will contain only the ideas in the passage, not your own ideas. It would leave out any unnecessary detail and examples. It is brief but also accurate. Now, to select the specific techniques and apply them appropriately, it's obviously important that you select and apply specific learning techniques appropriately in order for learning to be placed effectively. And these are the different types. You can do brainstorming, mind mapping, group analysis, note-taking, memorizing, keywords, underlying, skimming, scanning, peer assessment, as well as self-assessment. Asking relevant questions. Questioning is obviously the simplest and most effective way of learning. Asking questions is a part of the learning process. Now, as you're formulating questions, you also will practice thinking, but in a variety of degrees of complexity. Reading texts for detail. What is the right approach to reading difficult subject matter? The answer lies in one important rule of reading. You should read a text through superficially before you try to master it. Look first for the things that you can understand and refuse to get bogged down in the difficult passages. Read right on past paragraphs, footnotes, arguments, and references that maybe escape you. There will be enough material that you can immediately grasp, even if it is only 50% or less, that will enable you to understand that text in part. Listen to spoken input for detail. Active listening is a structured form of listening and responding that focuses the attention on the speaker. The listener attends to the speaker fully and then repeats in the listener's own words what the speaker has actually said. You have to make a conscious effort to actually hear not only the words that another person is saying, but more importantly, to try and understand the total message being sent. In order to do this, you must pay attention to the other person very carefully. Ensuring that learning takes place through communicating with others in groups or as individuals. Working with others in a group helps learning because it exposes us to more ideas than our own. We will see the value, for example, if you brainstorm, where basically ideas are thrown together from the whole group. It can assist our creative thinking to have a number of people sharing their ideas, which we also saw in brainstorming. It helps us to organize our own ideas when we speak to them, and this reinforces our own learning. It also gives us a chance to test our own ideas when our peers give us constructive criticism. Planning and gathering of relevant information in a given context. People use information for many reasons, such as to widen their knowledge, develop skills, reduce uncertainty, deepen understanding, as well as to solve problems. Identify and define appropriate or relevant topics and scope. There are several detailed steps that you can follow while researching a particular topic. Step 1, define the task. Step 2, access information. Step 3, evaluate the information. Step 4, classify, categorize, and sort information. And step 5, analyze and present the information. Planning and sequence information of gathering steps appropriately. Firstly, make a list of the resources that you know about and actually can use, for example, for your assignment. Ask your colleagues or any other sources that you may know about. Now, you can select those resources from your list that will give you the best information for your assignment. Applying information gathering techniques. Once you've located your sources, you can then find information within the sources as follows. Using the table of contents, glossary, and index to locate specific information within each source. Browse the shelves for your topic's location numbers to locate other resources on your topic. Now, for electronic sources, you can conduct subject and word searches to locate the specific information that you might need. Sifting information for relevance. Once you've collected all the raw information, you need to sift through it carefully and consider it in detail, what you can actually use and also what to discard. So when evaluating information, at the very least, you want to consider the authority, the accuracy, the perspective, as well as the currency of that actual information. Classifying, categorize, and sort of information. Arrange your notes from multiple sources in a logical order. Develop an outline for the topic, but write up bibliography and include it in your research presentation. As mentioned before, it is always important to tell where you got the information used from. Presenting conclusions in the appropriate format. Evaluate your information for reliability and usefulness. Have you covered all the points adequately? Does the information meet the criteria that you set up in the assignment? Choose the best way to present the information, PowerPoint presentations, reports, or even in a brochure. Make sure that you allow yourself enough time to do a good job and pay close attention to certain details. For example, the neatness and spelling and grammar, etc. These things all make or break a specific presentation. Please complete class activity 2 in your workbooks. Thank you.